Have you ever wondered why a plant that thrives in your friend's garden just a few miles away seems to wither in yours? No, it's not a green thumb you're lacking. It's all about the gardening zones. Picture this: a fish, happily swimming in the ocean, suddenly finds itself in a desert. It's bound to struggle, right? The same applies to plants. They're not just picky about their soil and sunlight, but also their climate. This is where gardening zones come into play. Gardening zones, or plant hardiness zones, are geographically defined areas that categorize regions by climatic conditions relevant to plant growth and survival. They're like passports for plants, dictating where they can thrive and where they can't. So if you've been scratching your head, wondering why those roses are wilting or why the tomatoes refuse to ripen, it's time to check your gardening zone. Understanding your gardening zone is the first step towards a thriving garden, so let's dive in. So what exactly are these gardening zones? It's not some cryptic gardener's secret, don't worry. First off, let's demystify what gardening zones are. In essence, they are geographic areas defined by the average minimum winter temperature. It's like an area's annual report card on weather, but instead of grades, we use numbers. These zones are a guide to help gardeners know which plants are most likely to thrive in their location. Let's break it down a bit further. The USDA Plant Hardiness Zone Map is the standard by which gardeners and growers can determine which plants are most likely to withstand the winter cold in their part of the country. It's divided into 13 distinct zones, each representing a 10-degree Fahrenheit difference in average minimum temperature. Zone 1 is the coldest, with temperatures that can plunge below minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, while Zone 13 is the warmest, where the mercury never dips below 60 degrees. But how do these zones impact our green-thumbed activities, you ask? Well, consider the zones as a plant's preferred temperature range. For instance, if you're in Zone 7, where winter lows average between 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, you do well with plants that can handle a chill. Think peonies, daylilies, or even the hardy hibiscus. On the flip side, if you're basking in the warmth of Zone 10, with winter lows rarely falling below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, you're in tropical plant territory. Here you can enjoy the likes of bougainvillea, hibiscus, and even citrus trees right in your backyard. Remember, while these zones provide a great starting point, they're not the be-all and end-all. Other factors like soil type, sunlight, and precipitation also play a part in a plant's success, but that's a story for another day. Just like you wouldn't wear a winter coat in the tropics, each plant has its comfort zone too. Now, there are a few myths about gardening zones that need debunking. Firstly, a common misconception is that any plant can flourish in any zone, given enough love and care. This is not entirely true. While it's possible to coax a plant into surviving outside its preferred zone, it's much like asking a penguin to live in the Sahara. The plant may survive, but it's unlikely to thrive and bloom to its full potential. Each plant has evolved to thrive in specific conditions, and forcing it to live outside those parameters can lead to a less than stellar performance.
Often called the mushroom of immortality, reishi is the top-selling nutraceutical mushroom species worldwide. In nature, it grows on hardwood trees and is well known for supporting general wellness and vitality. Reishi has been shown to be a potent immune system regulator and stress reducer and is frequently used in traditional Chinese medicine. Taken in the evening, reishi can help calm the body, giving you a peaceful night's sleep so you can wake up feeling fully refreshed and ready to take on the day.
Another prevalent myth is the notion that zones are the be-all and end-all of gardening. While it's true that understanding your zone can give you a significant head start in your gardening journey, it's by no means the only factor to consider. Think of your garden as a complicated puzzle, and the zone is just one piece of that puzzle. For instance, the amount of sunlight your garden receives, the quality of your soil, and even the local wildlife can all play crucial roles in determining which plants will thrive. A sun-loving plant won't flourish in a shady corner, no matter how well the zone matches. Similarly, a plant that prefers acidic soil might struggle in an alkaline environment, even if it's technically in the correct zone. Also, it's worth noting that the zone map is not static. It's updated every few years to reflect changes in average minimum winter temperatures, influenced by climate change. So, you might find that your zone shifts over time, altering the range of plants that are likely to thrive in your garden. Lastly, let's dispel the myth that gardening zones are strict boundaries. They are more like blurry lines on a map. Plants that are rated for a specific zone can often grow in neighboring zones, especially if provided with some extra care. Remember, gardening zones are not a hard and fast rule, but a guideline to set you on the path to gardening success. Zones are important, but they're not the only characters in this gardening story. Just as any great play needs a strong supporting cast, our green performers, the plants, need other factors to help them truly shine. Let's take soil type, for instance. It's like the stage on which our plant stars perform. Different plants prefer different types of soil. Some like it light and sandy, while others prefer heavy, clay-like soil. There's also the pH factor to consider. Some plants thrive in acidic soil, while others prefer it more alkaline. So the key is to match the plant to the soil type, or to modify the soil to suit the plant. Then there's sunlight, the spotlight that shines down on our plant stars. Sunlight is crucial for photosynthesis, the process through which plants make their food. Some plants need full sun, basking in the spotlight all day. Others prefer partial shade, enjoying just a few hours of spotlight. And then there are those that flourish in full shade, content with the indirect light. Water availability is another critical supporting actor in our gardening drama. It's like the refreshments provided to the cast during intermission. Some plants are quite the water guzzlers, requiring regular watering. Others are more drought tolerant, able to survive with less frequent watering. Understanding the water needs of your plants can make the difference between a thriving garden and a wilting one. And let's not forget about the local wildlife and insects. They're like the audience in our gardening theater. They can either applaud our efforts by pollinating our plants and keeping pest populations in check, or boo them by eating our plants or spreading diseases. So yes, zones are important. They set the overall climate and temperature range for your garden. But remember, they're just one part of the equation. The soil type, the sunlight, the water, and the local fauna all play pivotal roles too. They're the supporting cast that helps the star, the plant, truly shine. So, while zones are your guiding star, don't forget the supporting cast in your gardening drama. Ready for some surprising revelations about gardening zones? You might have thought that gardening zones are static, unchanging entities, but here's a surprising fact for you. They are not. Due to the effects of global warming, these gardening zones are shifting. Yes, you heard it right, shifting. As our planet's climate changes, so do our gardening zones. Plants that once thrived in certain zones might find those areas too hot or too cold now. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving world out there in our gardens. And here's another surprising revelation. Did you know there are microzones within a zone? Picture a gardening zone as a large quilt. Each patch of that quilt could be a different microzone, influenced by its unique conditions such as sunlight, wind, and soil type. So, while you might be in Zone 7, a shaded area in your garden could behave more like Zone 6. The existence of these microzones allows for a wider variety of plants to thrive in a single gardening zone than you might have previously imagined. But wait, there's more. Have you ever thought about the role of urban heat islands? These are urban areas that experience higher temperatures than their surrounding rural areas due to human activities. Fascinatingly, these can create their own unique gardening zones. Plants that may struggle in the country could flourish in the heat of the city. And here's the last surprise for today. Some plants defy the zone rules completely. Have you ever heard of zone pushers? These are plants that can survive outside their recommended zones. It's like they're saying, zones? What zones? These rebellious plants remind us that while gardening zones are a helpful guide, they're not the be-all and end-all. So, you see, the world of gardening zones is full of surprises. We've journeyed through the world of gardening zones, debunked myths, and uncovered hidden facts. The garden, it turns out, is a stage where the drama of life unfolds, governed by a set of rules, the gardening zones. These zones, a seemingly simple concept, hold sway over the success and failure of our green endeavors. They influence when to plant, what to plant, and how to care for our garden. Yet, they are often misunderstood, with many gardeners unaware of their true significance, or worse, falling prey to misconceptions. But we've cleared the air, haven't we? Unveiled the truth behind these zones, and even delved into the other factors that play a part in plant growth. The soil, the water, the care. And so we wrap up our green mystery, leaving you better equipped to navigate your garden's unique requirements. Remember, the right zone, the right plant, and the right care can turn your gardening woes into wows. Happy gardening.
With 10 different mushroom species packed into the most delicious gummies you've ever tried, this bottle has it all, including favorites like maitake, shiitake, lion's mane, reishi, and cordyceps. You'll experience a powerful blend of beneficial compounds that support healthy cognition and increased energy levels. These gummies are of the highest quality and efficacy, making them the perfect choice for anyone looking to perform at their best. Designed for a productive lifestyle, it's the easiest way to include all the benefits of mushrooms in your day.